cities, and then only it will be it will be effective. And totally, they have come out with the number that 49 days of effectively lockdown is needed to eliminate it completely. So now it is up to government, like how they want to do it. Like 21 days is they have done it in one shot. So now whether they want to do it another 28 days, or let's give relaxation for 5 days and then impose it for 10-15 days, then another give relaxation for 5 days, maybe different cities, and then reimpose for rest of the 14-15 days. So on. So it can be locked down in 3 phases at max, and depending on the supply chain scenario and the need, it can be done either in one go or maximum in 3 phases. So that is the understanding what we have developed so far. So I believe Mr. Sanjay, he has also joined us. Good evening, Mr. Sanjay. Hello.
Rahul, I think he's not able to hear our voice. He has messaged us that voice is not coming. Mr. Sanjay, am I audible?
Hello, Mr. Sanjay. I think there is some issue with the voice. Maybe you can disconnect and try to connect again. Akshat, can you call Mr. Sanjay and request him to rejoin? I think we are not able to hear his.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Please, you continue.
Yeah, sure. So, Mr. Jude, what's your opinion on the lockdown and how are things at your end?
Yeah, I think it's pretty bad for each and every individual, be it the rich, the middle class, the poor, people on the streets. I think all businesses are taking a big impact. And, the recovery, probably whatever one is going to take more than 3 to 6 months. Yeah.
Right.
There are a host of challenges. You'll have challenges on the people front, salary cuts, reduction of staff, material availability, costs are going to go up. So, going to be a very turbulent next 6 months. Yeah. So, but I think the major issue is, how do we turn around? Yeah. So, while this lockdown would help to a fair extent, but you really don't know, when the second wave can hit you. So I think it's important that whatever the government has been speaking and asking us to do, we should follow that. Otherwise, we could have a second wave. Similar to the incident that happened in Delhi. So you can have all these pockets mushrooming, and it could be a fiasco once again. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we're still out of danger. We're still in. I think we are in a very critical phase. Next 2 months are pretty critical for us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, sir, thanks for sharing your view. So, I also have been attending, a lot of sessions, and and even I was talking to a lot of senior stakeholders, like the president of ACAI and president of Ocean Freights Group, and the the logistic fraternity heads. Okay, so and basically they have also shared their views, what they have been discussing with Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Health, and what government is doing, and their views. So I would like to share. I think just give me a minute. I think Mr. Sanjay, are you able to hear us now? So I think we're about to start. Unfortunately, we are not able to hear you, but if you are able to hear us and maybe you can put your queries in the chat box, I think that also will help. Yeah, we are able to see you now. We are about to able to see you now. Yeah. Hello. Good evening, Mr. Sanjay. So I think we shall start now, right? We should start discussing. Yeah. Okay. So the overall broader understanding what we have so far at this point of time is that because of the lockdown, because of the supply chain impact, okay, so roughly around 3,000 to 5,000 crore is the expected loss per month, is what is the figure which we have been shared by the president of Akai and some of the various key people, those who are giving us the inputs about the current situation. And what they're estimating is that this lockdown will go on in some way or other till June end, before some kind of normalcy will be resumed. Okay, and in terms of, as we were discussing earlier, in terms of cost cutting or maybe impact on job in direct or indirect way, the rough estimation is that it will be in the range of 120 to 140,000 jobs, which will be impacted because of this situation. Okay, so also if you see, because the aviation is not working. Okay, so all the three, basically the air route, the aviations, the ocean freights, as well as the road transportation, because trucks and all are stranded. So all the three places it is getting stuck, and there are challenges. And if I talk about just the cargo terminals and the people and their salary, which is a mistake, that itself is coming out to be in the range of approximately 1,000 crore per month. With, if I add the overhead, so that is coming out to be like another 250 crore per head. So that is the kind of loss which these guys are suffering at this point of time. Okay, and the sectors which is getting impacted most is hospitality, hotels, tourism, and so on. And broadly, they have done the classifications into three broader categories. So one is the essential goods, so which is I believe is doing good, right? Because that is something which government has to allow to run in order to survive. And then the second kind of categories which are not directly the essential good products are manufactured in terms of raw material, or maybe in terms of some of the products, finished goods products of this company which are getting consumed by this essential goods and the healthcare industry. That is type 2, and type 3 is completely not related to either raw material or the finished goods or any kind of products related to healthcare or the essentiality. And those kind of industries are completely kind of shut down. And these are the companies, those are expected to incur most of the losses compared to other two kind of categories of the company. So this is the broader understanding of the market, and the losses roughly is in the range of 3,000 to 5,000 crore per month. So this is the broader perspective what we have got. And now coming back to some of the aspects or the challenges what government is facing. Okay, so what is the situation is that they're receiving the response from people, from the organizations like our, but in the parts, but not in one single go. And there is a lack of group or the representativeness from logistics or the supply chain forum or maybe authorities, those who can go and present the complete picture at one go. That hey, these are the key challenges, maybe based on the different industries, maybe based on different geographies. and so on, and what government can do uh, to resolve that or to address that. And as these challenges are going in parts, government is coming up with the various notifications in parts, and hence it is taking time. So what government has also requested that, okay, why like a concrete group, maybe in the WhatsApp or maybe in some other way, maybe formally or informally, that can be formed. Maybe all the challenges can be discussed, and in one go, like it can be brought into government notice, so that government can also come up with some kind of resolutions and some kind of notification at one single place. So there are various other challenges which we have received from the government side, what they have reflected. For example, as we know, like we are in a federal structure where central and different powers are different, and like different authorities needs to be notified. Or if I talk about, let's say, banking community, so LOI are the freights, are the term loans, or the credit line issuance, all of that is a challenge because banks are also not functioning fully. And in this time of crisis, they also have to protect the capital and so on, right? And if I talk about, let's say, the key difference between health workers, so if I talk about, let's say, doctors and the health workers and the police, so they have got this special permission to go on field. They have got the motivation in terms of 50 lakh insurance if anything goes down and so on. So there are certain motivational schemes that, okay, why they should be coming and working in this crisis situation. And of course, government is taking care of acknowledging their efforts. But what about the supply chain professionals? So it can be maybe, let's say, unskilled labor who is loading, unloading the goods or the materials. It can be courier boy, delivery boy, or the people those who work in this airport authorities, terminals, okay, are doing some kind of discussion negotiation with the truckers, and then the truckers are also stuck, at the various boundaries, state level boundaries. What about their food, shelters, and so on? Because they cannot move in or move out, right? Unless they are belonging or supplying the essential goods and so on. So there are a lot of challenges, like which government has also put forward, and they are also seeking views what can be done. And of course, over and above, there is a third big challenge which is coming from the psychological perspective. So maybe the person's own psychology, or the fear, or maybe what they're hearing from the society, or their own parents and the family members and friends in general. Okay. And another key challenge which is getting talked about is the globalization and how it is getting impacted because of its not so effectiveness in the current situation. So, for example, some of the pharmaceutical experts, they were there and they were sharing their views in one of the other, like seminars where I have been invited. So what they are reflecting is that the API, like active pharmaceutical ingredients and so on. So that's a challenge because as of now they are importing it from the China, predominantly from China, right? And if I talk about, let's say, developing in-house capability in India, and taking care of the logistics inside the India, that is going to be at least 3-year kind of a project, right? So it's not so easy where everything will be turned overnight. And given the China had the lead, they are improving and they are ahead in terms of time curve compared to India or other countries because the virus impacted them first and now they have recovered first. So hence they are controlling the prices as well. So if I talk about the India and the finished products from India compared to China, are the countries those who are ahead from us. So they are controlling the game because they are seeing it, okay, how to do the pricing, and as well as what about the situation once the lockdown will be, like removed after 21 days. So even that kind of a guideline, maybe some kind of a price is spiking, or maybe some kind of disturbance is still awaited unless government plans right now and take certain decisive steps right now for that. So those are also the challenges along with the rise in the dollar value, right? Because China and all, they have purposefully devalued their currency. But if I talk about India context, dollar is continuously rising, and hence that is another that is again creating the cost disadvantage for India as far as the exports are concerned. So these are some of the challenges which has been brought into the government notice, and one more very important factor. If I talk about the domestic logistic itself, so they need the samples, right, for the coronavirus or for some other key drug which they can manufacture, or maybe they can come up with some antidote and something. But even the local supply chain of transferring these samples to the R&D center, that also has become a challenge. So maybe the FedEx and some of the courier agencies, basically, they are able to transport, but they are not able to do the home delivery or maybe at the office delivery because of a lot of restrictions. So they are facing the challenges and they're asking government, can there be a certain ways which they can design that, okay, certain delivery boys maybe with certain permission can do the pickup and brought these samples or R&D material requirement at our doorsteps, and we can, so that we can speed up this testing process and come up with some certain kind of output from that and so on. So some of the challenges are existing which has been discussed, and I believe I was able to give you some idea about what we think about the situation, the timeline, the cost, the impact, the challenges, and so on. Okay, and now we want all our esteemed guests to share, their side of view under these objectives. What you think is the challenges, what can be the potential solution, what are the best practices which you have followed in your, organizations, and what you think can be done. Maybe share your knowledge, experience, your views. And one more thing is to come together more often as part of this procurement Avenger forums, and the challenge which government has reflected. We are not getting the consolidated document containing the ideas and probably are the possible solutions in one go, so that they can act in a more decisive way. So maybe, sir, it is over to you guys to, I think, brainstorm the challenges and the solution. I'm open, and over to you then. Or if you want to discuss any specific point on the summary what I have shared, maybe I can take those questions and then maybe we'll start document.
Just what is your view on this commodity prices after the lockdown period is over?
Okay, so sir, I would like to. Yeah.
Yes.
So what my understanding at this point of time is that government needs to intervene and make it a regulated stuff. If not, they are expecting the surge of minimum 8 to 10%, because at this point of time there are huge demand supply gap which exists. So unless and until government intervene and make it regulated and offer, let's say, Air India, certain other logistic like cargo and certain other local participants as well, to make it a regulated stuff, there is expected to be a price spike because of gap in the demand supply situation. Also, there is one more factor of delay, because lot of unskilled levels have migrated and now they have moved out from the point of operation places. So it is going to take further time for them to come to their destination and fully functioning the complete stuff. So that is another reason for the price spike, what is getting expected, unless government takes some mandate or fix the policy that okay, you can do only this, or maybe you can increase only 4 to 5% to cut, or take care of this price increase. And there is one last factor is that whatever losses which has been suffered so far by the corporate, okay, they are expected to amortize it, or they are expected to recover, if not fully, partially. And that cost, they are also they were discussing that will go under the freights and the logistic cost, and hence there will be at least one component which will increase the price, where there is the absorption of this of the lockdown will be taken care. So these are some of the factors what we have discussed in other forums. So there is a price spike expected unless government makes some kind of.
Right.
So maybe we'll start first with Mr. Jude. So maybe Mr. Jude, maybe let's say if you want to share some of the key challenges, what you are observing, in future consumers, and what are the things which you are doing at your end. Maybe you can throw some light, sir, and help us understand the situation.
Yeah, so I think most of these factors are common to everyone. I think one is availability of people, skilled, unskilled, both, including staff. Second is I think freight is a big challenge. Freight and logistics is a big challenge. And third is, of course, material availability. So currently these are the challenges that I'm sure everyone faces. Because I've been attending the CIA forum meetings every alternate day. I think it's across the country. And plus there is huge confusion on the ground in terms of legislation which are issued from maybe the chief secretary or whoever. There seems to be a big gap in what is there in the notification and the implementation on the ground. Yeah, so people really don't understand, and each government, state government, has their own interpretation there. So I think that's another big chaos that's there on the ground. I think I'm sure most of the other units, industries also are facing that. And not many industries are running today, though while we have some of our essential, goods units which are running. Yeah, but then, it's like, skeletal, one shift or maybe half a shift. So big challenges. And we don't see it, going off so fast. Looks like it will take some time to normalize.
Sir, what do you think is your view? So do you think June end is the possible time and 49 days?
No, as I said, it is going to take minimum 3 to 6 months, industry to industry, but normalization will happen only in Q2. So it will be 3 to 6 months from now.
Right.
So it will depend on how well the industries prepare themselves now. During these next 15-20 days, in terms of their risk management, their plans, their checklists. If they are able to do a good job, the ones who do a good job, will normalize much earlier.
Right.
So I think that's the key. The time that we are sitting at home, we need to utilize to do some good planning for the coming months. And there are going to be huge challenges on the ground. Water is going to be a big challenge, then your sanitation, then your hygiene. Because people are going to get paranoid about all these things now. Washing hands for 20 seconds, you require water, right? And for that, you require a proper sanitizer, you require a proper hand wash. So where is all this going to come from? Yeah. All these challenges are going to be faced by the industry. Yeah. So,
So, Mr. Jude, if possible,
it's a multi-fold challenge for all of us, I'm sure. All of us.
Yeah. So, Mr. Jude, if possible, if you can share some of the things which you are carrying on for the business continuity part, for once the things settle down, how you are taking care of the situation right now.
Yeah,
sure. We can share. We are also started doing that. So we can share with you. So one important thing what we are doing is we are, on a regular basis talking to all our suppliers and vendors, just keeping them in contact. Trying to, get some material reserved, we are looking, much beyond Q1. We are even, giving them plans for Q2 to, book material, plan for material. So all that. So maybe I can share that. I can share plan with you. Maybe once it's evolved in a couple of days, I can share that.
Mhm. Sure. And sir, how you are utilizing this current phase? So the point which you have reflected, this is very critical time when we are working from home. This should be effectively utilized. Of course,
Correct.
something which you have mentioned is that you're talking to suppliers, you're giving them the confidence, you're planning for the next quarters. So what
Yeah.
else you are doing in terms of keeping
Yes,
your
sir.
team motivated? Keeping
So
your current
employees, you have to be in touch with them on a daily basis, speak to them, talk to them, get teams together on a video call, see them face to face on the video. So I think also the morale of the staff needs to be kept up. So I think that's a very important thing. Plus ensure regular reviews happen. May not looking at the maybe some future planning can happen. Some projects can be discussed. Which probably could be in quarter 2, not even quarter 1. Yeah. So it's very important to keep people engaged. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Jude. I think you're not able to.
Hello. 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 Acha, you can't hear me? Hello. 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 Hello.
Mr. Jude, Kamlesh here. Kamlesh here from
Yeah,
Rahul's team. Sir,
Yeah,
your
Praveen.
voice is audible to me, but I think there is some internet issue at Rahul's end. That's the reason
Okay,
he is
okay.
not able to.
Okay. Yeah, so I think these are the points that I had. I think the others can join in also now.
Sure. So, Mr. Debajit, if you can help us to know how you are doing currently the things and what are your views on the situations.
Yeah, so I think one needs to have a daily conversation or communication with employees who are on the ground, who are working from home. There are some who are still on the ground.
Yeah.
So they do
Definitely.
tend to go to work, but whatever it is. But I think one needs to speak to them regularly. Try and give them some different ideas. To make them work. Yeah,
Yeah.
and a regular touch with team members who are working from home. I think that's very important. Maybe once in 2 days, if you can have a VC with them over Zoom or whatever, it keeps them in good spirits. So some feeling of belongingness. Otherwise, it could be some sort of isolation for them.
Yeah, we 100% agree with you, and I believe that is one of the major critical points which is required to take care so that
Correct.
everyone is in a good spirit and motivated so they don't feel
Correct.
very well taken isolated. So the points all very well taken, and thanks a lot. So Mr. Debajit, if you can guide us your views and your points, how you are doing the things, how you are coping up with the situations.
In the future plan, we just we are starting from 2 years back. So right now the situation is that we are just revised. The current situation has taken us back 2 years. So we are
Okay.
starting with all revenue, all these things. So
Yeah.
with the correction, all these things, expected sales and all this part, whatever the growth we have expected, that will be degrown by that number, so that we will start from 2017 onwards. To start from that period, we need to do the annual planning and strategies again. How to mitigate that risk, how to plan for the future, so that nothing goes wrong in the next few months, so that there will be no chances for the corrections. So that should be very robust, and that should be, we have to do something differently. Otherwise, you cannot. It's a big challenge for the industry, because for ice cream, that this is a peak season, and we lost entire this April, March, April, May, almost June also, we don't know.
Yeah.
So mitigate that big challenge. That is a big challenge for us, and we are just working on that. We are reviewing and making brainstorming and discussing all these things. So that is the only plan. So other than that, we have to do something differently. That's what the situation demands.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, everyone. I was facing some problems, so I had to leave and reconnect. So I think I'm still facing some issue in terms of video, but I think now I'm able to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's fine. We are able to hear your audio. So Rahul, it's fine. You can continue.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So sorry, I think I missed some of the points which got discussed during this period. So apologies for the same.
Yeah, no worries. I've been taking it down so we can put it up at a later stage.
Yeah.
Sure. So we can continue.
So we have to do something differently so that we can mitigate this challenge, and that's what the current plan is.
Yeah.
And the will remain there. Already Mr. Jude already mentioned the same challenges for all. I think that labor problem, that availability problem, the transporter, all this, and that mental blockages. So everything will remain, and the consumer behavior is most important, depending on the product and all. Other than essential commodities, all the products will be doubly scrutinized by the consumer. The behavior pattern will also change. So there will be a big shift after lockdown. Then we have to be mentally and thoroughly prepared for that, and we have to be ready with our new plan of actions. That is a requirement at this hour.
So, sir, can you throw some light? What is the new plan of action? In which direction which you are thinking?
So it's it is in detail study of that. Suppose, for example, that a sale, how the sale revenue can be earned in a different mode, different channel, different thoughts, and all these things. It's for example, that buying of material that's just related to procurement. So some of the commodities, the prices has came down. So is it an opportunity, or should we wait, and there shouldn't be any failure on that, no? So, or the prices will go up again. So all these things needs to be again. We had done some previous strategy plan for that. Now we have to redo that one. We have to rethink on all the things, and wherever the force measure can be applied, that can be invoked. So that can also be done. So these are the things we are working on that.
Okay. Yeah, that was very helpful. Yeah. Sir, what you think, according to whatever observations and analytics which you would have done at your end, is it the right time to purchase and the stock materials? Because when I was discussing with Ireland Fact, IL related companies, okay, so what they are suggesting or what they were
which oil?
Sir, oil and gas. So like
ONGC,
petroleum. Petroleum.
Okay.
So what they were reflecting is that this is the right price to invest more in terms of raw material, in terms of technology, and this is the time to redefine the way they want to work or restructure and to be future ready. And they are coming up with the 5-year plan and how today's situation can be best utilized towards that plan. So are you guys are also doing and making some 3 years, 5 years plan and thinking this is the right time, or what is the thought process going on? Maybe if you can say
that much horizon we don't have on our commodities for 3 years, 5 years. Definitely oil, it would have been oil, then we should take a call for 3 years locking at $25. So what Reliance has already done. So but definitely we have to think on that coverage, the opportunity and how much to be covered. That we are definitely thinking. But right now there is no such scope on any of the commodities which has dropped in the tune of petroleum is dropped. Okay. So we are just exploring, but it is the opportunities and the situation is not like that for another agro commodities. Maybe crude and all, for this granules and all, it is yet to be reflected because Reliance plant and pricing is all not yet circulated, or I think their factory is also shut. So that's the thing we need to watch for that. Crude related material and their price movements. Just a polymer, plastic materials. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So I think we have covered this section in quite a length, right? So now let's move to the next topic. What do you think is happening with respect to the regulatory perspective? So I believe Mr. Jude, like he was reflecting in his earlier comment that there is a significant amount of gap in terms of notification and the ground reality and the implementation.
That's true. Right? That is true. Same thing. I reiterate the same thing. That it is there. It is there, and the clarity is missing. And
so, sir, what you think? Like how this challenge can be addressed? What are your views? So I was reflecting one point. Like in my introductory speech, so what government of civil aviation and the Ministry of Health, so what they are doing is that they are forming one WhatsApp group, so where they are inviting like people from the federal structures, from both central as well as the state, along with the few industrialists and the few eminent news channels and this kind of people, media people, and they're trying to understand and monitor through that group. So do you think creating those kind of groups, doing some reality assessment and check will help, or you have some certain other perspective?
Here the information flow should be from some. So here you should have you can think in that way. Bhavan Vista can take this forward to electricity. The problem is that the notification, their interpretation, and their ground level implementation, there is a big gap in that. And state-wise, it is different. So here some external source who can compile this one and guide the industry in such a way. So for this stage, this is the transport notification, and this is the outcome. So one should go in that way. Otherwise, in the same company, 10 people have a 10 different opinion of the same notification. So this is what it is happening. So some external agency or somebody can take it as a challenge that we can collect all the information and provide that to our to the industries what they need to do or they don't need to do. So guidelines for the compilation and just guidelines to the industry. So that you can take it up in that way.
Yeah, I think you have good forums. CII is pretty good. They are doing good work.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So we have received some of the information from that only.
Correct. Because we have every alternate day.
Video Jod is also a member of CII, na?
Yeah. So
okay.
So we keep on having this every alternate day reviews, and a lot of points come up. And today Suresh is the CEO of Nestle East Champion, so he takes it up with the respective ministry. So I think that's working fast, very fast.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we got it from CII. That's that's how it came. So Mr. Aurobindo Das is also in CII, na?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You are from Mr. Jude? You are from which industry?
I'm from Future Consumer Limited.
Which one? Future?
Yeah, Future Consumer. Yeah, Future Consumer.
Okay.
FMCG company.
Okay.
Okay.
So your operation is going on right now, Mr. Jude?
Yeah, we have a few units in Tumkur. Actually, we produce a lot of this rice, wheat, and also those are running. So those are running. Yeah.
So because those are essentials, na? Any non-essentials you are running?
No. That's not that.
So it's essential. You have to run it. Definitely at a lower manpower and all.
No, in fact, the government is pushing us to run. They're giving us all the support for it.
Exactly. Otherwise, there will be a big vacuum after the lockdown is over.
Yes.
Right.
So, Mr. Jude, this question is specifically for you. So, when I was at the other side of the table, so what government authorities were reflecting is that they're not getting one concrete requirement from the industry side as well. So, so what they were saying is that we as an industry are giving our requirements in bits and pieces and in parts, reflecting the one specific or few specific challenging areas. So we are also not thinking through in long-term perspective, and we are also not coming up with some concrete document, thinking all the possible scenarios, and hence government is not able to come up with a very exhaustive notification and plan of action. So do you think that's a correct statement?
Yeah, to an extent it's correct, because I think neither the government nor the industry was prepared for such a thing ever. I think this probably happened, the first time in the history of maybe the country. So I think going ahead, we should, have these notifications actually drafted well in advance, during good time, so that in times like this, they are, readily available and easy to implement them. Yeah, we are not ready. I think both the government nor the industry was ready for this. Yeah. So I think both are to be equally blamed or whatever it is.
Right. And one more fact. So maybe Mr. Jude or Debajit, like you both can answer. So I was participating in some of the other forums. What they are reflecting is that there is a lack of uniformity. Okay, and there is no proper brainstorming and like guidelines are available to which they can refer to or fall back upon. So as Mr. Jude, like you have reflected that there is no notifications or guideline available and that can be drafted. So have you thought through some of the things, like how this can be done, or going forward how various groups can be created? What are the best practices in which this can be drafted and communicated to the government?
So this was precisely also discussed in one of the CII interactions, and they are working very rigorously on this. So I think probably they will be coming out with guidelines and notifications in the next couple of weeks or maybe a month. So they already started work on this. How to handle such. Yeah, on guidelines, how to handle, say maybe something like a lockdown or maybe a major force majeure. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So this is the first time the country or the world has faced such a pandemic. Absolutely. So I think they are preparing for it, and I think in a week's time, in a month's time, they should be ready with this. So, and it will be representing all the industries. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And sir, any one of you want to highlight something more for this point, or should we move to the next point now?
Yeah, let's move, because I think we are running short on time. We need to finish.
Yeah. So sir, what you think is the the best strategy or the best practices which we can do in the current situation? I know like nobody is prepared for it, but whatever you are doing, maybe some of the best strategies which you want to share.
Yeah, I think two things. One is, what we should do short term in terms of, managing your business, top line, bottom line, employees. That's short term, and long term is, how do you try and, recover lost ground, in probably the next 3-6 months. Maybe a long term plan, a 3 year or 4 year plan. I think that is something that, one should be doing immediately.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one is your recovery plan. What else? How you are maintaining the sustainability? How you are ensuring that sustainability is in place?
No, I don't think we'll be able to sustain in Q1, Q2, but I think we will just need to manage, resources in terms of, man, material, so I think that's going to be the most, crucial thing. Man, material, availability of, goods to the consumer. How do you, as Tejit was saying, consumer preferences are definitely going to change. They're not going to get into, buying luxurious things now. So it will be, very basic. So we'll have to, change the whole strategy for next 6 months. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the most important is that you have to maintain the bottom line. For top line to gear, you cannot achieve the top line in this 2 months is already gone. So whatever the projected or budgeted, that definitely there will be a hit until and unless you do absolutely different something or any other factors. But the bottom line needs to be protected for the sustainability. You have to come out of that situation quickly. So that is most important.
Sir, any specific thing which you are doing other than this for maintaining your bottom line? So are you doing cost cutting, job cutting?
Cost cutting, not job cutting. Better you can define in that way how to cost effectiveness, how more on the cost part. What investment we can defer, what investment we can, which is not required immediately. All these things needs to be done. Everybody, I think, is doing the same thing.
Yeah, those things are going to happen,
Yeah, going to happen. So you cannot achieve your number.
Okay.
That is inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what you think, like once, of course we touch base this point to an extent, that what should be the strategy post normalization, but do you have any specific view you want to share, some of your analysis post lockdown period and normalization resume? What should be done?
What should be the strategy for post normalization? Huh?
Yeah, post normalization. Yeah. Are you any expectation from the government or any authorities? So like some of the things which I was sharing, like demand supply gaps, labor problems, and so on, that is expected to bring some kind of price spike. And industries, like expecting that government should think about it right now and put some kind of normalization strategy. So do you have any expectation from government, or what you're doing as a company for yourself? Maybe if you can throw some light from both the perspective.
So you have to do something differently. That's what post normalization. You have to do something differently what you used to do earlier to get the same consumer with you, to either in promo or in price or in some better offering. So that needs to be focused to regain the losses and to maintain the same business share.
Okay, and sir, one more interesting debate in which I was part of. So what they were reflecting is that, like given the current situation, the sustainability angle and other factors, especially from sustainability and the logistic perspective, now the raw material or the base prices would have been completely different or changed in the current situation, as well as it will be different post normalization. And we cannot go with the same cost structure or the same process, and hence certain kind of price discovery or certain activity related to that is very critical. So do you have any views on that?
So all the material prices needs to be re-looked. So renegotiation wherever possible with the revised pricing, cost structure. Definitely that is to be looked for each and every element. Definitely there will be changes on the price front. And there are two parts where you have a coverage, where you don't have a coverage. Where you don't have a coverage, there is an opportunity. Where you have a coverage, you have to think on that, how to get the opportunity of the reduction in prices.
Inflation is inevitable, so price hike is going to be imminent. Yeah, so I think we are heading for inflation. Yeah.
After lockdown.
Yeah. So there'll be huge spikes in commodity. Huh? Yeah. So I think milk prices already are gone up in the south. So we're going to have an issue.
Sir, what kind of so Mr. Jute, what kind of spike you see in terms of price?
So whatever working we have done, so we are looking at an inflation of almost 4.5 to 5%. So that's the inflation that we have worked out.
Okay.
Yeah. So and this will largely be on the raw material aspects, because packing material, crude anyway is down, so we don't see a major upside on the packing material. But raw material, yes, there's going to be a big impact on raw material. Be it your rice, wheat, sugar, your milk, all your chemicals, that's going to be increased for sure. Labor cost may increase, government may increase the minimum wages again. Yeah, so that's going to be there.
Okay. Okay. And sir, probably that is a sensitive question which I'm trying to touch now. What do you think can be done in times like this in terms of team or org restructuring post normalization?
Yeah. So I think, as I said earlier, we will be working short-term strategy. Yeah. So this is, the margin and bottom line delivery. We'll have to see here how to, look at the staff. Yeah. So obviously, work is going to come down significantly for most of the industries. So it all depends on, individual company policies and philosophies, what they have on people. Yeah, so it will vary from industry. Like many of the aviation industries have already, removed their employees or salary cuts and all. We have seen that happening. I was told Air India has sacked some 200 pilots today. Yeah. So that's going to happen. So as I see it, there's going to be a bloodbath on the street in terms of job cutting. It's going to happen.
So what you think? Like when I was talking to aviation, ocean, and road transportation fraternity, they were expecting 120 to 140K job cuts. So what is your view in your industry? What kind of jobs cutting and
it will be there. But frankly, I have no assessment on the numbers. But it is likely to happen. It is likely to happen across the FMCG sector also. Likely to happen.
Okay. And Mr. Debajit, like, do you have any specific view or numbers in mind which you want to reflect?
Numbers I don't have, but definitely it will. I just endorse the statement of Mr. Jude. Don't have any detailed idea on that, how it will happen and what will be the percentage of that. But to maintain the bottom, this is the one of the, particularly those sectors where that manpower cost is significant, where your aviations, your IT sectors and all these things. The recession will be just like 2009. So what happened that time? So it will be on that front only. Same situation will be
Okay. So, sir, I would like to differ here because when I was participating in one of the CFOs and finance forums, so what they are reflecting, this is worse than 2009, and this is going in similarity to 1930 lines. Of course, it has not
1939.
reached there. Yeah, of
Okay.
course, it has not reached there. It has not reached there. But they were trying some kind of a Dow chart comparisons and so on. And they are reflecting this can be worse than 2009 for sure.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So they are not expecting like this is same as 2009.
Okay.
Do you have any specific view, sir, or input for me on those lines?
No, okay, it's okay, but it will be much more severe than 2009. No? That's what your assessment is.
Yeah, that's what they're reflecting. Yes.
Yeah, it can be, absolutely.
So they have listed down 5 factors, okay, and they have published a report as well. So unfortunately, I do not have the report with me. So they are monitoring all those 5 factors, and they're reflecting if these factors are getting broken, then we can say this can be as bad as 1930 as well. But for sure, this is worse than 2009.
Okay. What are those 5 factors?
So, for example, quarter-to-quarter movement, what they're expecting that this by June end, they're expecting that okay, this certain kind of restrictions and normalcy will start resuming. Q2, they're expecting that growth will be -2%. Okay, and then if that is there, then Q3 onwards, they're expecting certain normalcy to be resumed with break-even scenario. So next 2 quarters are very critical. 2, they're expecting that consumer behavior. So when the things started, they were saying it will be V-shaped recovery, and they were expecting if that happens, so it is a more hint towards 2009 kind of a setup, because there it was more of a V curve recovery, and 2001 to that was definitely V curve recovery, right? But even this current situation and where the psychology or consumer behavior has got hit, so they are expecting now it's no longer a V, it will be a more of a U curve. So they wanted to see how much the consumer behavior has got impacted and so on. So they have listed down 4 or 5 key parameters and the observations.
Okay.
And,
great.
And so their view is it can be worse than 2009. So, sir, wanted to know like your feeling. Maybe you would have definitely more.
Yes, I enriched myself with your thoughts. I didn't have any much idea on that, how much it will be impacted, but it can happen. If it happens, then the severity will be much more on all the fronts.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Right. So, Mr. Jude, any specific learnings or lessons from your side?
Yeah, I think one is that you should always see in any industry we plan for contingency, but I don't think we have ever planned for such a deadly and drastic contingency. Yeah. So we normally plan risk assessments and all those things, but I think we never ever thought of such a drastic contingency. So that's one big learning. Second is working from home. The big learning.
Right.
So coming to terms, yeah. I think we have two big learnings for me at least.
Right. Okay. And sir, the last point of today's agenda, what you think, like how technology can help in, like, of course, work from home and all, where technology is really playing an active role. But what other areas other than this, which you can visualize or you want to recommend that how technology should be adopted and how it can help you out?
So one is that your online platform, that is a big area. The post demonetization, if you see the switchover from cash transaction to online transactions, there is significant changes for using the plastics. And similarly here also the online movement of goods, that will be a significant part. Whoever will come first will be the winner. So that is a big opportunity for the FMCGs. So that avenue will definitely explode.
Correct. I think IT and home home delivery. I think these are going to be the two big technology drivers.
Yes.
Yes. I think delivery major technology level for the future.
Okay. And sir, in terms of your maybe sustainability, maybe in terms of cost restructuring, do you see IT playing a role there?
Yeah, it will play. IT will play a role in that. Yeah, because I think people will also now look at artificial intelligence doing the role. Yeah, I think more of AI will come into play.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. 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 And sir, one more interesting point which has been brought in other forum in terms of standardization. So what their participants were reflecting that if I see, let's say, BFSI or other industry vertical, so they have the well thought down and structured best practices board. In fact, they have established best practices boards. They have the guidelines to be followed, and more or less, of course, there will be org level changes and the deviations, but at least at industry level, they have achieved some best practices and what technology should do, how to use technology, and so on. But that kind of a standardizations and structuring is not there, especially in terms of procurement and supply chain. And a lot of work is needed to be done. So do you agree to that statement?
Yeah.
So what you think can be done in this in this line? How process can be streamlined and restructured? What kind of analytics can be derived?
I think you guys can actually help us. Getting inputs from the industry specific. Help us, make guidelines and then use them as tools here. Wherever, we are taking services from you, so you can help us, streamline and set guidelines, for more efficient procurement and, standardization. I think that's a good idea because, we get into our roles and get busy into day-to-day activities. It's very difficult to get done all these, standard things on guidelines and best practices and all. So if you guys can take it up, of course, it will also help you as an organization to build credibility and improve your business.
Right. Sure, sir. So, sir, any quick summary or critical points which you want to reflect? So maybe we can start with Mr. Jude. Top 3 points which you think.
Yeah. I think, as I said, first point is short term, long term. Secondly is, how do you deal with your employees, which also includes mental health. How do you, take care of mental health of your people and yourself. And third is also technology. How do we use technology to, look at addressing such, future disasters, which could be more, I'm sure, now going ahead in the future, there could be more of them happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Devajit, your top 3 summary.
The first one is that to protect the bottom line. How to manage the bottom line. Second is on the procurement part, what is the best time to take a stand on the coverage part, whether short or long or how much it is to be done. That is a very important thing. Okay, so because of this volatility and this uncertainty. And third is the risk management. That is a very important thing. So how to protect the risk management. That is in this buying product, it is still not there. You are protected from the upside of the market if it goes up, and when it comes down, what is the mechanism to protect that without exiting the contract or anything? So what is the you just think through that, and that is a difficult thing to be answered when the market falls like this. So if somebody has covered at a price and market has definitely will fall, and you are telling that it will be more, it will be like 1930 in the market crashes. So what is the protection mechanism or exit mechanism and the risk mitigation mechanism that needs to be?
Okay.
Got it, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with this we have covered most of the agendas and the points, right, which we thought for the first series of our Procurement Avengers Forum. So unfortunately, as there was a delay and we tried to do it in the short period of time. So like
who are
could not. Sir, so that was a very short notice. I agree. Like we have given you guys very short notice to join.
BHCL. I spoke to him, Akshat.
Yeah, I know that.
Bimal Shoni.
Yeah, so we thought like from infrastructure front, from FMCG front, from the cement and manufacturing front, and from the other like FMCG, and so these were some of the industries we thought we will bring, and some of the eminent guest speakers. But we also understand, like being this was the first series, and we are given you
very good. It's a good initiative, and it's a good forum. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think good initiative.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Viral.
Yeah, thanks, sir,
Thank
for
you.
saying such a nice word.
Okay,
For us
thank
and
you,
encouraging
Rahul.
us. And we really appreciate, sir.
Thank you,
Yeah.
all of you. Thanks a
We
lot.
really appreciate,
Thank you,
it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. Bye bye.
Yeah.